How long does it take you to finish a movie? According to StephenFollows.com, the average runtime of a movie is 96.4 minutes. Why is this information important in a speech about depression? Because every 100 minutes, near the exact same runtime as a movie, a teenager decides to take their own life. Suicide is the third-ranking cause of death among people under the age of 21, and it's the second-ranking cause of death among college students. The root of all these suicides? Depression. Currently, 30% of teenagers have reported symptoms of depression. And among these 30% of teenagers, only 30% of those are receiving treatment for their depression, leaving 70% of teenagers untreated and still depressed. The National Institute of Mental Health has also observed that 3.2 million teenagers aged 12 to 17 have experienced at least one period where they felt depressed in the past year. The DaveMeFoundation.org also states that the mean age for depression is only 15 years old. Along with these facts about depression, it is only on the rise. According to health.usnews.com, in a survey done by the National Survey on Drug Use and Health in 2009, which involved hundreds of thousands of youth and adults, gave researchers shocking results. Depression in youth had increased by 52% from 2005 to 2017, and depression in adults had increased by 63% from 2009 to 2017. After analyzing the disturbing extent of depression, we can move on to the causes: an overstimulated society, lack of sleep, biological factors, and past trauma, before we move on to the ways we can solve depression, including a community, a limited cell phone use amount, using medication, and therapy. Let's first begin by looking at the causes of depression. There are four main causes of depression. The first is an overstimulated society. Health.usnews.com explains that 95% of teenagers have access to a phone. In teenagers, social media usage has been linked to depression, distress, and suicide. The internet provides a platform that allows teenagers to unhealthily compare themselves to others and doubt their self-worth if they don't receive an expectation of likes or comments in which they want. The second cause of depression in teenagers is a lack of sleep. Countless studies that have been done prove teenagers that are specifically the ones not getting the correct amount of sleep at night. As a result from this lack of sleep, teens can be depressed, moody, and irritable. Because teens are still growing and changing, mentally and physically, sleep is extremely important for their well-being. The third cause of depression in teenagers is biological factors. Females are generally more depressed as they tend to develop depression 2 times more often as men do. Along with this, teens who have depression in their family history are more likely to be depressed as well. DiscoveryMood.com states that 20 to 50% of teenagers who are depressed also have a family member who struggles with depression as well. The final cause of depression is past trauma. Teens who have been abused and neglected in the past are more susceptible to be depressed today. Along with this, experiences such as divorce or death of parents have also been proven to cause depression in teenagers. After analyzing the extent of depression, as well as the causes, an overstimulated society, a lack of sleep, biological factors, and past trauma, we can transition into the solutions that we can take in order to solve depression. There are 4 main steps in solving the problem of teenage depression. The first is by simply surrounding the teen with community. According to TonyRobbins.com, surrounding oneself with community releases serotonin, which is a chemical that is known to bring happiness to humans. The more community, acceptance, and love we show to the teenagers struggling with depression, the more serotonin they will release, and ultimately the happier they will be. The second way we can solve depression in teenagers is by limiting their cell phone use. Because cell phones create an unhealthy environment for teens, by limiting them, it's an obvious thing we need to combat. By parents taking away teens' cell phones each night, they're able to get the amount of sleep they need and ultimately spend less time on their phones comparing themselves to others. Along with this, taking away phones at any other time during the day allows them less time to be on social media and feel less valued when they don't receive the acceptance they are wanting. The third way we can solve depression in teenagers is by prescribing them with accurate medications. Antidepressants such as fluoxetine and escitalopram are FDA approved to combat teenage depression. These antidepressants will benefit teenagers immensely by increasing their moods drastically. The final way we can solve teenage depression together is by allowing the teenager to attend therapy. According to mayoclinic.org, attending therapy allows the attendee to realize the cause of their depression. Teens can understand their depression and what's going on in their life. Along with this, they can find out ways to combat their depression and ultimately regain their happiness again. In conclusion, after our intense analysis of teenage depression, we understand that it is a very serious issue that needs to be addressed seriously. Depression is very prevalent in the lives of teenagers today, and it is only on the rise. The main causes of depression include an overstimulated society, a lack of sleep, biological factors, and past trauma. And the ways in which we can stop this depression include by surrounding them with a community, limiting their cell phone use, prescribing them accurate medications, and allowing them to attend therapy. After knowing the 4 steps we can take in order to solve teenage depression, we can follow in them to do our part in ending it in order to create happier and healthier teens, because they deserve to be happy. Thank you.